when Lori said this was going to happen, this reunion of fast pitch baseball, what kind of memories flowed through your mind?
The memories I had was the competition we played. We played a lot of tournaments with Jim. Of course, with Jim, top pitcher, and well, I would say the East Coast probably.
Yeah.
And so we'd go to a lot of these tournaments. I love the competition, and that's what I've always just loved to do. I love, you like to win, but I love to play competition.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's what he allowed us to do this and go these places and play all these tournaments and have a chance to win. And it was great. It was really good.
So give me your lineup, just for the camera. The lineup. We know Jim was the pitcher. Talk about your lineup.
Position by position.
Yeah.
Pete Neubauer caught. Ronnie Neubauer first base. We had Don Crandall or Stan Smith was second base. Hannon was at shortstop. I was at third. Left field would have been, Veer Lindquist or, lefty Spets. Lefty Gus in the center field and George Parsons in right field.
So that was your pretty set lineup.
Yeah. A lot of us worked, so sometimes we had to get other players. We couldn't get off of work because you had to pay bills.
Well, tell me about your manager, Mike Scary, right?
Mike Scary.
And I just to let you know, I'm 72 years old. I used to watch you guys play Allen Park. That's where I lived.
Yep.
And I'd see Mike always dressed in a uniform, always had the mustache. What was he like?
Well, Mike was a competitor too. He wanted to win. He was always trying to find a little edge here. We gotta try. He was trying to pep us up. We didn't need any pep up. We played like Caesar House or one of the top teams. We were ready to go.
Was he knowledgeable?
Yeah, I think he played a lot of. I don't know if it was fast, but I guess it was industrial leagues they played back then, way back.
Yeah.
And I think he played a lot of that. And I think they were fast pitch.
Yeah.
But not at the level we were at that point, I don't think.
Yeah. But in many senses, for me, he was like a caricature. Kind of a small guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Again, and a uniform. He was in a uniform.
You lived in Elm Park?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Allendale.
I lived on Elam.
Oh, okay, sure.
For not very long, 5 years. We bought the house in '72, and then I worked for Crescent Tool. Then I got transferred to South Carolina in '77.
Oh, okay.
So that's when I left, and they were still playing a little bit I think a few years after that. Yeah.
So how did you get recruited to Stravatos?
My brother-in-law.
So
Jim's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Hey, we need a third baseman. Or we need an infielder or whatever he said. I can't remember. And at the time, I think he asked me, the first year time he asked me, and I said, well, I don't know. I'm playing with Crescent twice a week, and I was going to school nights, a couple nights a week. I was going to JCC, and I said, well, I don't know, but finally I got out of JCC, then I finally got time, and so I think he asked again. I said, yeah, I'll play. So
did you find, at least again from the fans' perspective, there was one game, and that was your game against Caesar House during the year?
Yeah.
Did you get amped up over that?
Oh yeah. It was like our, I wouldn't say World Series, but like our championship game. Just what it was. It was the best team of the city that year.
Yeah.
You could beat Caesar House. Yeah.
And you played a couple times a year during the league.
Right. And then we played. I'll tell you, our tournament they used to hold at up in Baker Street.
Yep.
That tournament was one of the best tournaments we would go to all year. We went to 6-7 tournaments a year, all around Western New York, Pennsylvania, and we probably put on one of the best tournaments. And we always, we won it a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, I think. But that was fun. That was top competition.
I was talking to Jack Fulford, who kind of was behind the scenes in those tournaments, and he was giving us the background that ultimately he never wanted to play the local team. You had to work your way. Ultimately, no matter what you did,
towards the end,
bracket, it still got Stravatos and Caesar House, and the teams from Buffalo, and sometimes play till 2 o'clock in the morning.
I remember one time, I think we lost our first game Jim couldn't pitch. He was working. I was working. A couple other people were working. We just barely had a team, and I think we lost. Who did we had? Another guy from Olean. We had pitching.
Tommy Irons.
No, not Tommy Irons. Wayne Dorside.
Oh, yeah.
And we had him pitching. I think we ended up getting beat 2-1, but we didn't have half our team there, and we went on to win that year. And that Sunday, I think we played like 4 or 5 games, and until like you said, like to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Once you get in the losers bracket.
Oh, I couldn't walk the next day. On third base, I'm always on my toes. My toes are so sore I can hardly walk. I'm really serious. I mean, I just remember that, man. We scraped it through somehow, man. We did, but that was fun. That was fun.
Well, as a third baseman, certainly with Jim pitching, it seemed like the only way anybody was ever going to get on base is bunt.
Right.
I mean, so were you constantly playing in?
Yeah. I've always played at least on the grass. If it was a left-hander, I'd move in another couple of feet. If it was a right-hander, I'd probably stay back to the edge of the grass, just inside the base a little bit. Yeah. Unless he was a known bunter or something like that, then you might. But, yeah, that's, and they try to slap it by me.
Well, you and Jim, nobody could get by you guys. But I remember that was seemingly the strategy. Just get somebody on base, somehow steal second, and hope for something.
Yeah, hope for a pass ball or something, and then an air.
Yeah.
And that, those things happen too. But
was there a guy that on Caesar House, you play those guys, I mean, so tensely, it was always 3-2, 2-1, 1-0. I mean, it was just always that tense. Where you'd say in the bottom of the 7 innings, were there 7 inning games or 9?
No, seven. Yeah.
7 inning games. Where you just say, I hope that guy doesn't come up. They're one player.
Probably the only one guy that I didn't want to see come up, Danny Harnish. Danny, well, he hit a line drive by me one time. I was playing up. Nothing, I didn't hardly see it. I could be dead today. But Danny was a great athlete. He was a good player. And it's hard to pull the ball on Jim. I don't know if he threw a change up or what, but man, I didn't know what was coming. He lined that thing by me. Oh, that was.
Well, that brings up an interesting question. At no point would you know the sign.
No, I never knew what they were throwing.
I mean, and so, did Jim throw anything other than fastball?
Oh yeah, he had a drop.
He had a drop?
Yeah.
Did he throw changeups?
I don't know. That was probably his changeup because he threw the riser was his main pitch, and then he threw the drop, or I don't know what I guess what they call it, drop, and that was a little slower. So that was more like a changeup probably to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can at least see it.
That you could see, and that's probably what they hit by. He hit by me, I think. But it was fun. Like I said, the competition was good, and I loved it. Did you mind the travel? No.
Did you play on other teams during the day? Call you and say, "Hey, we're not playing this weekend. Can you join another team?"
No, not really. The only other team I played with Crescent Tool for years too. We were in the industrial league.
Right.
So I played that for that. Then I think I played just with Stravallis towards the end. That's all.
Was Dewey Westerberg part of that Crescent?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Dewey. What was the other guy's name? A big guy too. He was our catcher. Oh yeah. I just can't remember their names now, but he was a little bit older than me, but he was a good guy. He was a big guy. But we had a decent team.
I graduated from Jamestown High School in the '69, and I played football, and we would practice down next to Crescent Tool.
Yep.
And I can remember how the windows were always open, and we'd be walking in our pads, and the coach would be walking by, and somehow the employees would, say hi, and occasionally put a wrench out on the edge for those coaches to grab the wrenches, put it in their pocket as, thanks, Jack. More times than not, that wrench went out. That was a thank you.
Yeah.
I never understood, nor did I ask.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know why I thought of that. But
that's
that's strange.
I'll tell you, they had a lot of good employees there, and a lot of them were athletically inclined or followed athletics, or they just did. I don't. But, I think they found out. I think one time our HR guy said, "I said, well, you've got a lot of good guys." He said, "Well, athletes make good workers. They're more attentive. They want, they're just more. They're just better workers."
Yeah. So on your Stravatos team, you had the basic 9, but guys like Lefty Gustafson had his diner. I mean, so I
Right.
suspect he couldn't come every game.
Right.
Was that where Veer came into play?
Veer would come in, and then we had who was the other guy? They were twins. Remember, we had twin.
I don't.
They were a little younger than us, because at that time I was probably 30 or so, 30 something. They were probably 23 or 4,
Yeah, I don't remember.
and we got a couple of those. Play with them once in a while.
I don't remember.
Tony Francina would play with us once in a while. Trying to think who else. I can't remember who else. But I know those other guys. Not DeMeo. What was his name?
Bobby Schmidt, he played a couple of times too.
Yeah, Bobby Schmidt once or twice probably.
So, but basically you were a set team. So when you went and played, it might have been 10 guys, 9 players, and
Yeah.
1 or 2 just in case.
Yeah.
I never asked, but who was the pitcher other than Jim?
Wayne Dorside
Prince.
and Prince, Billy Prince, those two.
Bill Prince.
Bill Prince. Okay, thank you.
And Wayne Dorside. He was
Wayne, too,
was he
yes.
from Olean? I think there Randolph down there. I think he was a teacher down there.
He was a gym teacher at Washington.
Oh, so he was here.
He was here.
Oh, he was here then? Okay.
But where he lived other than Jamestown, I don't know. If he came from Olean or not, I don't know. But he was a gym teacher at Jamestown.
You answered the Bill Prince.
Bill Prince.
I knew there was another guy.
Yeah.
The only reason I know that because again, Allen Park, I'm there. Stravatos is there. But it wasn't the big game. I mean, why waste?
Yeah.
So you'd have Bill usually pitching, and Jim might pinch hit or something.
Laurie, I was talking with Laurie, and I said, where did your father learn how to pitch? And I'm thinking Bill Prince may have taught Jim, or made him, or probably got him involved, because Jim was pitching baseball, and he hurt his knee, and he couldn't come down on his knee anymore pitching. So that's when he started pitching fast pitch.
And Bill was a little bit older?
I think so. Maybe a little bit, but
Maybe a little.
I think they were just friends. They were friends, and yeah.
His son Tim was the wrestling coach at Frewsburg.
Oh, well, okay.
Tim Prince. Yep.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Somehow I think Bill made later on pitch modified pitching, like just for fun at the church league or something like
He
that.
might have.
So was there a game or two, Steve, when you say, I remember this game or crazy game? And if you don't remember quickly, I'm going to give you a setup game.
Oh, a Caesar House game or?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's basically, there might have been other games. I mean, but everybody focuses in on you two guys, the Stravatos.
I know one time we were playing Kodak in a tournament, and we're ahead 1-0 the last inning. Had 2 men on base with 2 outs. They hit a ground ball to Hannon. Ball hits the infield, bounced over his head, and they scored 2 runs and beat us 2-1. And that's when they had won. I think they had won the fast pitch world tournament that prior year.
Kodak was huge.
Yeah, they won the big tournament, and we could have beat them if we don't get that bad bounce. I mean, he just went down and the thing just went right over. Of course, the infields weren't all real smooth back then. But see, that was nice with third base. They hit so hard it didn't matter. You either caught it or you didn't catch it. But
Well, the game that everybody seemingly focuses in on was a game at Jones and Gifford, maybe one of the early games between Stravatos and Caesar House. It was early, like a Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, and no cars could seemingly come down Jones and Gifford. It was just a packed house. And Jim was talking about that. Do you have any recollection of that game?
I don't know. It might have been maybe a year before I got there. I don't know.
It could have been.
And so. Yeah, but I don't. I remember playing down there. Another game, or just one or something. And I think Jim asked me to come down because he said we might need you. I wasn't playing full time with him then, so that's the only. And I played a little bit later on in the game. I got in or something like that. But
No, it was, anyways, apparently just a game to end all games.
yeah.
So, what's the question I should be asking you about Stravatos that I haven't asked you?
Oh, geez. What's the question? I don't know how a bunch of older guys stayed together and got so competitive. It was a lot of we're 35, 40 years old. Or, with Seizure House, most of them were all real young.
Yeah.
But just how those guys were so competitive. And, they wanted to win so bad. I mean, just like they did. We both did. But, when it was all over, we're out drinking, having a beer together.
You did that? I mean, did you, after that highly competitive, you guys hate those guys, they hate you on the field?
Yeah.
You went out and...
Yeah, I wouldn't say it every time, but a lot of times, yeah, we get together, and especially if we played in town on Baker Street or something, we'd maybe go someplace or something.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that was good. They're still friends with Bags. I saw, in a couple of those guys, and it's a lot of good memories. A lot of good memories.
Well, you created a lot of them, Steve, and I'm so delighted that you're here and Lori brought you over here.
Well, thank God for her. She called me up. She goes, geez, they're going to have this little reunion thing. You can make it. I said, I don't know. When is it? And she said, August 24th. And I said, well, my wife reunion's in September 10th. Might be able to squeeze that in. So we just got here yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
We just drove up yesterday. So we're going to spend 3 weeks here. Almost 4. Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it so much. Thanks, Lori.
You're welcome.
Yeah.